Let's talk about how technical the flat sketches are in the fashion design book. So by now you've probably already watched several of the other videos that have been linked through the fashion design book through the QR codes. So by now you should know what the difference is between a fashion illustration and a technical flat sketch. Where does the fashion design book sketches fall on a scale of technicality? On one end, we have fashion illustrations, and fashion illustrations are highly artistic. They are elongated, they have lots of rendering to them, and styling. So these are less technical. Then, on the other hand, we have a technical garment sketch that's used in the garment industry in order to create that product. This technical garment sketch is more proportional to the body, it's flat as if it's lying on the table, and it has all of the details called out, like the trims, the top stitching, any sort of design details that are important, darts and design lines, all of those things are called out on that tech pack sketch. So this would be the most technical flat sketch you could make. So where does the book fall on this technicality scale? Not technical, artistic versus very technical and everything called out. Well, I would say the fashion design book leans more toward the flat technical sketch side, but it's not all the way there yet. The reason why it's not all the way there yet is because I leave a lot of the design details up to you, the designer. There are things like top stitching that you might want sometimes, but you might not want other times. That's up to the designer to decide. And by the time you use this library of mixing and matching, a lot of those technical details wouldn't even apply to the new styles you create. So I've taken those sketches back as much as I can to really let you be the designer and mix and match that library to create your own unique styles. However, you could definitely go to the point of being really technical in your sketches using the fashion design book. So I've given you an example of what it looks like to have a technical flat sketch for the garment industry, and you can definitely go there if you want to have it more detailed. I really leave this up to the designer or the home sewist because there are so many different people utilizing this book. It's not only going to be people in the garment industry. So, for example, you might be a designer for yourself or for clients, and you might just want to conceptualize your design ideas. This is such a powerful process, and that's really the reason why I made this book. It's to conceptualize, get those ideas out onto paper, and it really helps you see the styles before you sew them. You'll notice the Croakies in the fashion design book look more like human bodies. They show the muscular structure. The image on the left is what's shown in the fashion design book. The image on the right is a more flattened version, meaning the lines have been straightened out. You may have seen other Croakies in the industry that look more similar to the image on the right. Now, which one is better? This is up to you as the designer or the company you work for. If I place the more flattened version on top of my Croakie that I've drawn, you can see that the end result is actually very similar. The legs are a little straighter and the arms are a little bit straighter, but the rest is the same. So if you want a Croakie that's very straightened, you're more than welcome to straighten out those legs and arms in your Croakie. This is totally up to you as the designer. For me as the designer, I love seeing that muscular shape. It helps me visualize the design so much better. As well, when I tend to use a flat technical Croakie like this, my garments tend to look overly flat and just not flattering. This is why I've included the Croakies as I have in the fashion design book. Another reason why I haven't focused so highly on doing technical flats to the level of garment industry use is because oftentimes those technicalities can take away from that conceptualizing process. So if we have all of these things called out and every single detail figured out, that can take away from some of the design aesthetic. And for me, I like to just get a quick flat sketch drawn out, conceptualize it, see if it's what I imagined, and then rework it until I'm happy with it. Another thing you're going to notice sprinkled throughout the book is a little bit of styling. Styling means it's how the garment is worn, and it can also be referred to how the garments are worn together. For example, you might have a cuff that's rolled on the bottom of a sleeve or the bottom of a pair of pants. We have a couple styles in the book to show you how this process looks in case you want to conceptualize the style like that. Another thing you're going to notice that some of the sketches look more flat than other sketches. And the way we do this is usually by straightening hemlines or curving them. And throughout the book, I do prefer having slight curves to my hems just to give it a little bit of depth. It still can mean the exact same thing on a technical flat sketch, whether you have a slight curve or it's completely straight. And since these sketches are used in that visualization process, and I like it when it looks a little bit nicer to me and less flat, then sometimes I go away from those really technical flat looking sketches. What's right or wrong here? This is up to you and also the company that you work for. Many companies might have their own Croakies that they use, and they expect you to follow their Croakies and guidelines in drawing flat sketches. On the other hand, many companies also use those same flat sketches in that merchandising process. So they don't want it to look overly flat because those merchandisers, buyers, or salesmen might not be able to overlook how flat those technical flats can look. So if we add a little bit of shape to them, it can be a good thing. So on that scale of fashion illustration to technical flat sketches, it's somewhere in the middle, but closer to the technical flats. However, in many videos, you've already probably seen that we can utilize the book also for fashion illustrations. So many different uses for it, and I know there are so many different people using it. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey of watching these videos linked through the fashion design book. I really hope you're enjoying this series. In case you don't have the book yet, you can find the book on Amazon and most online book retail stores, and I also have a link to it in the description below. I'm Gina Renee, and I teach online pattern making and design courses so that you can design and sew clothes you love that fit. If you've enjoyed today's video, make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.